Well, hi, it's Andrew Bell here, and we're just finishing up with another dose of heavy rain. But the upside is the city is absolutely sparkling clean, with all of our buildings washed down and all of our parks and nature strips thick with lush green grass. Certainly a long way from what normally happens at this time of year, where we do find a brownish tinge from the very hot summer. But of course, what continues to be of paramount interest to so many is, how's the real estate market? Well, not only here on the Gold Coast, but around the country, it's been a robust start to the year. Different, of course, in various parts of the country and different between real estate offices. But we saw the week before last the highest auction success rate in over 2 years. They're hovering around record levels. Here on the Gold Coast, our event 2024 auction program was by far the most successful on record. Over 100 properties sold for well over $111 million to date. And a few of the ones that hadn't sold on the auction day have been selling over the past 2 weeks. Last week, we saw the Ray White Group do a further 15 auctions with a 100% success rate and with an average of 11.8 bidders per property. These are extraordinary figures by any measure. Now, all of this incredible buyer activity is occurring with a backdrop of this combined pressure of high interest rates and high cost of living. It was certainly expected by most that by now, that combination would have tempered the demand for real estate, but it hasn't. We know record numbers of people are now falling into mortgage stress. In the past, that would have led to a significant increase in the number of properties being taken back by the banks as mortgagee in possession. But we're not seeing that at this very moment. And that's largely because property values have held up so strongly, indeed increased in value, on most properties, so that even if borrowers are behind in their mortgage payments, banks feel comfortable and there's been sufficient equity in the properties that a mortgagee sale was not necessary. The banks have been prepared to work with the borrower to try and navigate through their debt situation. But what we do know at this stage is the cumulative effect of high interest rates and higher costs of living is draining savings. So we've just got to keep a close eye on that. What's given some people a renewed sense of positiveness is that we are now only some 3 months and a bit away from tax relief. And of course, for others, there's this kind of feeling, general belief that we can now see the light at the end of the tunnel in relation to interest rates. Lots of speculation on that front, with the Reserve Bank still indicating that they have not closed the books on interest rate rises if inflation stays stubbornly high. They just want to keep us in line. Now, some economists now floating around that are predicting that we might see interest rates drop as early as mid-year. Highly unlikely, but the general consensus is it's unlikely to occur until late this year and maybe even early next year. But people now in a position to plan around a degree of interest rate relief somewhere between 6 and 12 months from now. Everybody wants to know what the market will look like through the balance of this year. And anyone who tries to tell you is actually a fool, because nobody knows. There's still so many wildcards floating around, but the one that I watch very closely after nearly 50 years in the industry is unemployment. It's a really big one in driving consumer confidence. When the economy's slow, and we're starting to see that everywhere. UK has just been announced as being in recession, but others are on the brink. When we start to see that slowing, then we know that the next thing that comes is the shedding of jobs and unemployment starts to pick up. If you read the papers each week, you will see more and more job shedding occurring. So keep an eye on that particular one. You might have noticed that here in Australia, our unemployment has risen. We've gone up now to 4.1%. So keep an eye on that trend line. Unemployment certainly, of course, affects people in their inability to make loan repayments, but what it does on a bigger scale is it just makes lots of people nervous about their jobs and therefore don't want to buy any sort of high cost item such as buying a property. However, there still remains one underlying factor that continues to support the real estate market at present, and that's simply that our population is growing every year and at record levels. Every month, in fact, every single day, it's growing at a faster rate than we're building homes. And that simply means greater demand for property than there is property on the market. Well, it's certainly a fascinating phase in the real estate market after 4 years plus, really, and one of the longest phases of spectacular property growth in Australia's history. And finishing up today, don't forget to book for our business meet sports lunch on Friday the 22nd of March. It's amazing. We're just over 800 people booked in with only a couple of tables to go. So if you're wanting to come, reach out to us straight away. Harry Triggerboff is our lead speaker. A fascinating story about a person who arrived here as a penniless migrant and of course worked hard and is now floating around always in the top 5 wealthy Australians. His story is one full of learnings and an inspiration for all of us. And we've also got Anna Mears, 3-time gold medalist, who is the chef de mission for this year's Paris Olympics, and she's going to give some fabulous insights. So, record crowd, make sure you're there, book now, details are on screen how you can be part of the group. Be very quickly, we'll be unfortunately saying we just can't fit anyone else in. This truly is a unique opportunity, probably the last time anyone will see Harry speaking live. He just doesn't do it, doesn't like to do it, so we're very privileged that we're getting this opportunity for you to be able to be part of it. As a Ray White group, we're particularly proud of this event. Well, we're only days away from summer, and of course the autumn season is now upon us. If you're thinking about selling, we have a very special autumn auctions coming up, and off the back of our incredible event success, any potential seller should feel the confidence that we have the absolute formula nailed. And for great results, you should make that move before there's any risk of a slowing market, because a slowing economy is not good for real estate. That's it for now. Look forward to seeing you in a fortnight.